Section 1, The Digital Crumb, a New Language of Ambiguity. Have you ever found yourself in a state of suspended hope, waiting for a message that might never come? That feeling on a small, tantalizing hint of interest someone gives just to keep you hooked, without any real intention of follow-through, is called breadcrumbing. It is the modern dating equivalent of leaving a trail of tiny morsels that lead absolutely nowhere. In a world saturated with digital communication, these crumbs are easy to drop and even easier to misinterpret. Thinking of you text after a week of silence, the fire emoji on your story with no subsequent conversation, or the vague promise of "we should do this again sometime" that never solidifies into a date on the calendar. This behavior is a subtle form of emotional manipulation designed to keep you on the back burner, simmering with just enough warmth to prevent you from boiling over or going completely cold. It thrives on ambiguity. The person dropping the crumbs maintains all the power, or if they're genuinely about to make a move. To effectively identify breadcrumbing, we must first define it with absolute clarity. Simply put, breadcrumbing is the act of sending sporadic, non-committal yet enticing signals to a romantic interest to keep them attached without expending real effort. They are the calculated, low-investment actions of someone who wants to maintain your interest for their own benefit. These digital crumbs are designed to create a sense of possibility, a glimmer of hope that something more substantial is just around the corner, even when it is not. Imagine you have been texting someone for a few weeks. The conversation is great when it happens, but then they disappear for 4 days, only to resurface with a simple, "Hey, stranger." That is a classic breadcrumb. Another common example is the person who consistently watches and reacts to every single one of your social media stories, maybe even sending a quick reply, but they refuse to step onto the stage with you. They will say things like, "We have to grab that drink soon." Why would someone engage in this frustrating behavior? The motivations behind breadcrumbing are varied, but they almost always come from self-interest, not genuine care. One primary driver, the desire for an ego boost. Someone waiting for your message feels validating. The breadcrumber feels desirable and wanted without doing the work of a real connection. Another motive, fear of being alone and fear of commitment. So they assemble a roster of potential interests, keeping everyone at arm's length with a steady drip of attention. On a lonely Tuesday, they can send "miss you," and a reply soothes their anxiety, holding out for someone they perceive as better. While keeping you as a backup plan, they enjoy the attention while they shop around, then get scared when things feel real and pull back. Recognizing you are being breadcrumbed requires you to step back and objectively observe the patterns of behavior. The signs are often subtle individually, but when they appear together, they form a clear and undeniable map leading nowhere. The most prominent red flag is wildly inconsistent communication. One day, they are flooding your phone with witty banter and affectionate messages. The next, you are met with radio silence for days on end, leaving you to wonder what you did wrong. Another glaring sign is the reliance on low-effort communication. Pay attention to the quality, not just the quantity of their messages. Are their texts often short, one-word replies? Do they only reach out late at night? Do they interact by liking a photo on public social media or by viewing a story more than sending a private, meaningful message? It is the digital equivalent of a polite nod from across the room when what you truly need is a face-to-face conversation. Vague promises of future plans are another massive red flag. Your intuition is screaming a warning. It is time to shift from a passive recipient of crumbs to an active author of your own story. The first step is to stop making excuses for their behavior. It is easy to rationalize their inconsistency by thinking they're just really busy. They're not a big texter. Acknowledge the pattern for what it is, a clear signal that you are not a priority. This honest assessment is the foundation for reclaiming your power in the dynamic. The next step is to match their level of effort, or even better, to reduce your own. If they take 3 days to reply to your text, do not respond within 3 minutes. Do not send them paragraphs detailing your day. This is not about playing games. It is about protecting your energy and showing that your time and attention are valuable. For a more direct approach, seek clarity. I've enjoyed getting to know you, but I'm looking for more consistent communication. Is that something you're able to offer? Ultimately, the most powerful response is being willing to walk away. Choose yourself. The emotional toll of being breadcrumbed is significant and should not be underestimated. It operates like a slow-acting poison, gradually eroding your confidence and sense of emotional stability. One of the most common effects is a pervasive feeling of anxiety. You find yourself constantly checking your phone, waiting for a notification that might bring a momentary hit of relief. This cycle of hope and disappointment creates a state of hypervigilance, where your nervous system is on high alert, anticipating the next move. This is an exhausting way to live, turning your phone from a tool of connection into a source of constant stress and validation seeking. Over time, this dynamic can severely damage your self-worth. You begin to internalize their inconsistent behavior as a reflection of your own value. This self-blame is a natural but dangerous side effect of breadcrumbing, but because you are on the receiving end, it feels deeply personal. You start to believe that you are only worthy of crumbs, not the entire banquet of a loving, consistent relationship. Breadcrumbing also messes with your ability to trust your own judgment. You might think, am I being crazy? Furthermore, this experience can foster a sense of learned helplessness. Recognizing these emotional impacts is key to starting the healing process. In conclusion, navigating the murky waters of modern dating requires a strong sense of self and an unwillingness to subsist on emotional crumbs. Breadcrumbing is not a reflection of your inadequacy. It empowers you to see the situation for what it is. This clarity allows you to stop investing your precious emotional energy. Taking action is about setting and enforcing boundaries. This is not about issuing ultimatums, but about honoring your own needs, that your time, attention, and heart are valuable. You are declaring that you are no longer available for part-time interest or ambiguous connections. You are worthy of someone who is excited to see you, who makes concrete plans, and whose actions consistently align with their words. You deserve clarity, not confusion. Remember to trust your gut, listen to it. Ultimately, the antidote to breadcrumbing is radical self-respect.